We're in, we're live? Alright, let's do
Game
this.
is
So we got
started! Game is
Flareflies,
started!
Firefighters. Flareflies, Firefighters against Seal's Navy.
I'm gonna call them
Side
Navy
switcher.
Seals. I don't care. I don't
Side
care.
switcher. Are they on the wrong sides? What?
What are you talking about?
Cheeseblade just said side switcher. Oh, okay. Alright, switch what? What? I'm so confused. Whatever.
Dude,
Stop
ignore him.
ghosting your own game. Okay,
Yeah.
Cheeseblade? There you go. Alright. So our first of the finals here, game 1. I'm expecting we're just gonna see some normal crap now.
It seems the Hecarim and the Vi bands are already coming out like instantaneously. They've seen Hecarim dominate and in this game mode, and they're just like, we don't want him. We don't want to deal with him. Ooh,
Yeah, after the Hecarim from last game, I'm not questioning that ban at all.
Look at the Thresh band, dude.
Doesn't surprise me at all. Len the Great was playing a very good Thresh last game. I believe he was the support, right? Yeah, he was. The Elise band going down. I'm guessing Fergus McBlock, Nick Bolger. It's probably a... sorry, Cheeseblade. I have to be impartial. I can't choose a side.
Oh,
And
the
if I
Anivia
did-
band coming out. That's definitely directed
Oh
at
man.
Castlevania right there. They saw
Yeah,
his
they
Anivia
definitely
last
watched
game.
the last game.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good ban there.
It's like dealing with Frogan.
I'm not quite sure that's true, because I think Frogan would, like, do Baron Nashor at some point, but yeah, other than that, yes, it's like dealing with Frogan.
What was that about Baron Nashor? I was like really confused. Why you just said Baron Nashor out of nowhere?
Well, no, he would probably go do Baron Nashor. So we got the Volibear first pick here. Incredibly strong jungler right now. Those ganks are just brutal, and he's almost completely item independent as well. He doesn't really need much to go with. He can just run in and fling and die, and that's all that matters. Here we're gonna have Vayne plus Malphite. You know, Malphite, great pick overall. You know, especially in the less coordinated teammates who are more prone to sticking on top of each other. Malphite's really powerful. Although this Vayne pick, I just don't. I mean,
Well, Saint
Blue team just
Mughal,
beat Vayne.
did do a very good Vayne last game, so it's probably a pick for him.
that's probably true, but they did just see Durunthor completely roll the last game. Well, I guess they didn't. They were too busy playing. Okay. Well, blue team here, the Flareflies Firefighters, did just beat a Vayne team very easily in the last game. Durunthor down there being a very powerful Malzahar player, easily able to burst down that ADC. And Vayne especially vulnerable to that kind of thing.
It looks like Nukio is going to go Caitlyn to try and counteract and mitigate the effectiveness of Vayne here. The long range versus the short range is really going to be difficult for this Vayne to deal with. But if Vayne can just turtle it till a level 6, I'm sure she can do really well.
Oh, we got the Taric Caitlyn lane here. This is pretty old school. Pretty old lane that used to be extremely popular with Taric Caitlyn. Very powerful kill potential in the early game with the trap plus the Taric stun. However, I don't even know if it works anymore with the Taric's new shortened duration. I'm not sure they can pull that off. We also have Lulu and Gragas coming down here. Gragas being Castlevania's second pick for champion. You know, Gragas is still a really great roamer, still a strong laner, and Lulu is all around great at everything. You know, can't ever complain about her. Especially good with that Malphite ultimate there. Really gonna keep them locked down for a while. Unsurprisingly, we're gonna see Durunthor down here on Malzahar, and then Fergus McBlog picking up their top laner.
They have so much disruption on that team. Purple team just had the Malphite ultimate to knock people up, then follow up with the Lulu Akup, and then Gragas could just disperse everybody.
Yeah. As much as I liked how Flareflies played last game, I don't think I can really favor them at this point right now. I mean, they do have some strong picks going for them, but they just don't have the teamfight disruption that Purple Team has. We're going to see Aurelia come down now. She's a fairly rare pick these days. But I think it's a good one here. She is going to be able to dive onto Vayne, and she's really going to be able to stick. There's not going to be a lot of crowd control that's going to keep her off. Oh, but we have Oaxaca on Renekton. He did just do a great job last game shutting down the enemy solo laner, and Renekton already very strong pick against Aurelia. She just can't deal with all that free harass early on in the game, where she's the weakest. It's certainly a high-risk pick here from Valhalla, because if he doesn't stomp down the Aurelia, she's going to turn her back around on him. But this isn't looking good for blue team here. I would disadvantage them on almost every lane now.
It seems Fergus is actually changing over from the teleport strategy.
Oh, back to the flash.
We got a Singe band out. I didn't realize that.
No, that's not surprising after the last game. And we know Valhaka's not very confident in the top lane role either, so probably better off just to ban out his top champion. Early analysis. What do you got on this game, Raiden?
I'm gonna have to say the early game it definitely revolves around Volibear's ganking. If Volibear can get some really good ganks off and run in and just like flip everybody and do a ton of like get a ton of like early kills for the team, they could definitely snowball into their favor. But as seeing the late game comp of purple team, if they can just keep protecting Vayne and just disrupting the enemy team and using all their crowd control together simultaneously, they can really pull off something here. And so we're just gonna have to watch out for how this game goes on.
I have to agree with that. I think once again this is gonna be a game decided pretty much entirely by Grotag. He really did a good job of helping his team out last game as Hecarim, and this game especially with Volibear's early ganking is just terrifying. And Malphite's early game ganks are terrible, and they don't really get a lot better even after he gets his ultimate. He's still only able to successfully gank once every couple minutes, and Volibear is just going to be a permanent threat. So I think it's really going to come down to Grotag here to carry this game for his team. His team can snowball very hard. That's something I want to emphasize here, is that purple team does have a lot of disruption and a lot of abilities, but if they don't, they're all snowball reliant champions. Gragas, Renekton both don't do anything if they don't win their lanes very hard. So if we do see Grotag putting down the pressure and keeping them shut down, we probably are going to see a blue team victory, and that's probably their best hope, the best bet right now. Because if purple team gets to get all their ducks in a row, I don't see blue team being able to pull it off. You agree?
Yeah, sounds like a very sound analysis.
I'm gonna have to go, and just preliminary. As much as I like Flarefly's Firefighters, and they showed a lot of spunk last game, I'm just gonna have to give this to purple team at this point, though. We did just watch them last game. We do know that Flareflies do have pretty strong solo laners and a good jungler, but we also know that their bottom lane doesn't have very good communication or fundamentals down. So I'm gonna have to say that Saint Moogle I saw Saint Moogle play very well as well in his last round, and I think that Lynn the Great and Saint Moogle are just going to be able to snowball this so hard that it's not going to matter. And if purple team has to, they can just protect the Vayne, because they can just use all the disruption to keep things off of her. And I think that's how this game is probably going to end up going. What would you say?
Yeah, sounds pretty good. Surprised that the blue team didn't decide to go for a little more CC, and they're going for the more single target again.
Yeah, I also agree. And I think, as far as the rest of the tournament's concerned, the single target CC plan was probably a good one, because most teams only have one or two problem players on them. There are teams that have those really powerful players, but we know going into this tournament that Seal's Navy has a lot of threats. They have a lot of players who are going to be able to carry the game on their shoulders if they get to it. Both Saint Moogle and Castlevania are very strong in their roles, as is Lynn the Great. And Valhaka's no chump up top on Renekton or Pantheon. So I don't know if their single target CC is going to be able to really get them out of this one.
I think definitely Aurelia and Volibear just have to kind of jump onto Saint Moogle at this point. I feel like he's the primary target for this team. If they can get him down, then the rest of the team is just not going to be able to do much. And we're into the game.
Yep, in the loading screen we go. This is going to be a great game one way or another, to be sure. I'm going to look for a lot of really great plays coming from these players.
God, I never get tired of looking at my background.
What's your background?
Tifa Lockhart from the Final Fantasy VII.
I don't blame you.
The Advent Children one. I was like, man, if only a girl like this existed in real life. She looks literally the Tifa girl looks like every exact generic Asian girl out there, but it's just you never find one that's just like that.
I'm more of an Eris kind of guy myself. Anyway, We
onto
have the
onto
skin
League,
war
onto
coming up.
League of Legends.
On to League of Legends. We have the skin war once again, resulting in a deadlock here. We. I like that Malphite skin though. Although the Volibear skin is absolutely hilarious. So it's Lassie Volibear, guys. He's coming for you.
They've got a lot of blue on their team. Malzahar with the skin though not being very blue and purpley.
Agree. Now we got pretty default summoners running around. I mean, we've just got the two teams mirroring each other right now. Except Cheeseblade there, being the noob, he has his flash on the F key. Clearly gonna doom his team. All of these
Whoa.
people,
Actually,
all these flashes on
actually,
F.
Flash is supposed to be on F because Flash starts with an F. It makes perfect sense.
No, man, nah. See, you put your ignite on your F because that's the fire. You want fire on them.
That makes no fucking sense.
Shut up. Alright, so getting in a game now. I didn't know Grautag had a gold last season, actually. He just lost it this season.
It was really strange. A lot of people like who were gold last season got like placed into like silver 1 or something. It was really weird. Alright, we're into the game. Moving my mouse around the characters.
So what does Directed Camera have for us today? Item builds, we do have Caitlyn starting on the Doran Blade, which is pretty much standard for her. Vayne sitting on Longsword and 2 health pots. I mean, it's fine. We will have her Renekton starting in the red pot. Probably the best carrier of that, while Aurelia still starts on Flask and Pots. It does look like the Flarefly is going to go for invasion here, and they do have the team to pull it off, I think. Doran Ring once again starting it out on Malzahar.
It looks like both teams are actually trying something here.
Oh, that Lulu. She keeps coming down like that. She's going to find herself in a world of hurt way too fast.
Oh boy, is she coming?
Oh man, oh man.
Oh my gosh. And it looks like they're actually going to try a red invade here. It looks like they're both invading each other.
This is pretty amusing, because this is going to result in bottom lane running into each other on their way back. So we might actually see an early first split off of this.
Yeah, they put the ward down at the race and everything, and looks like purple team is just Valhalla is heading back up. Looks like blue team is going into the blue buff right now, but they're not going to find anybody. So Aurelia is actually going to be late to lane.
Looks like Flarefly's Firefighters are just going to kind of derp around. Vision Ward coming down there from blue team. That's highly suspect, in my opinion. We are going to have Fergus McBlock will be late to lane unless she decides to blow the teleport.
And Cheeseblade gets a smiteless.
We are going to see the two teams run into each other on the way down here.
Oh, and they get
See
the stun on to Lulu. Malzahar comes down trying to help out, but Lulu with a beautiful slow gets exhausted. They're gonna keep on going. Malefic Visions goes on to Vayne, and it's just gonna be some early harass. There's not gonna be too much going on. It looks like Volibear trying to go in on this 2v1. Not sure if that was a good idea. It took a ton of harass.
Good early lead now for purple lane, and it is actually very lucky for Vayne that she did start the longsword now that she's going to be in a situation where she needs those potions. Nukio laying down the punishment on them. Great job. I don't think we saw Aurelia. No, Aurelia doesn't have the teleport. So yeah, Aurelia did show up to lane late against Renekton. Very bad news for her. But Renekton also pushed up the lane pretty hard, leaving her a little bit of breathing room on her turret where she can try to CS in peace.
Yeah, Aurelia is one of those champions who, even if you push her to her turret, she can CS so well. It's just so easy to CS with that Q.
Volibear almost dying to the blue buff. Guessing his passive has to have popped there. Not really drinking the health pots as aggressively as he should have been, but yeah, his passive is now down. But you are going to also have a Malzahar now with blue buff at level 2.
That's going to be very annoying for Gragas, especially Gragas being a melee mage. He has to just keep taking the Malefic Visions to the face over and over and over again.
Aurelia doing a great job of lasting underneath that turret. Lulu, really low now, taking all the harass from Caitlyn and Tarek. Vayne actually up in CS. Nukio just not doing a very good job of getting that farm in, despite his lane dominance. We're just not seeing anything out of Gradag this game. He just took way too much damage from that blue buff. He's too low to actually get off a gank. But he really needs to use this time right now, where he's a lot more powerful than Malphite as far as fights is concerned, to get some action going, and he's just not able to do that.
Bot lane is a very passive farm fest.
We have Fergus making a trade with Renekton here, but Renekton all on health pots in the red pot, just not going to stick any damage there.
Although they're very even. That was a very even trade amongst the two.
True, but remember, Volibear is going to have more regeneration, and he also has the red pot to make any future trade suddenly lopsided.
Did you mean Renekton?
Renekton, that one. It does look like we're going to see Volibear coming up right now, and maybe Aurelia can beat him into a fight. Oh, Volhaka just not aware of what's going on here, but
he does have the ward, so he did spot that coming in.
Not
oh,
able
it looks
to
like a
really
fight's going down on bottom lane. Vayne actually getting caught onto the trap, but she tumbles out of the way, and it looks like she'll be completely fine.
No, well, this is gonna be probably a back from Vayne here. No health pots, and Lulu obviously offering her no sustain. Very unwise to stay in this situation. Tar can easily trade his life for Vayne's and come out on top. And Malphite obviously can't pressure this bottom lane. Just not an effective ganker this early in the game. Renekton taking a ton of minion damage there from the Equilibrium Strike. Aurelia doing a really good job of staying as even as she can, just not getting killed. That's really what's important here. Is Renekton's one of those champions who just has to snowball super hard and get those kills, or he's not going to be effective. And Volhaka is just not able to make that happen. Fergus is doing a really good job of keeping off that middle lane here, getting a really strong early push going. Volibear is still level 3.
And so they initiate on. Malphite throws a Q. Looks like they keep slowing him down. He's forced to flash.
I think that may have been a slightly premature flash on Volibear's part. His passive was back up from his last fight. He wasn't really in any real danger of dying there, I don't feel like.
And Volhaka and Fergus just taking whacks at each other. It's like watching a boxing match, just slowly whittling each other down.
So we've seen there's a big CS lead for Purple Team at the moment. 400 gold, just obtained up to. It's a few more wards and a lot more potions. It's nothing to scoff at. Still no first blood going down though. At this point, I'm really curious as to who it's going to end up being on. I almost feel like Aurelia could take down Renekton if she could bait out that red pot earlier. At this point, Aurelia's level 6 is quite powerful, as is Renekton's, but no. Still surprised, no action from the junglers this game. Gradag just not able to get anything done, taking too much damage early on in the game.
He's just going to soak up some EXP in the middle right now. Looks like Renekton's just going to keep going in, using that same combo, just going in, Q, and coming out.
Yeah, it's a big shame that Gradag got so shut down early on, because one of the big problems I always have for Renekton is that he automatically pushes the lane, doing anything, any of his harass abilities, anything he could ever do. He's just always going to push.
It's like a stun's going to go down
makes
onto
him very
Vayne.
being
Vayne
ganked.
uses the Cutlass.
The Cutlass going down there from Vayne, probably slightly premature, but well, it got Caitlyn to back off. Nukio just not willing to commit there.
Volhaka just not caring about the harass being laid down by the turret, mostly due to the fact that he can just Q at a minion wave and get all his health back.
Yeah, Renekton does have a good, I believe it's 100 HP cap. or one. It's like 130 or something like that. 125. So he can get he can and usually will get 125 health back from every minion wave, and it's nothing to scoff at. You know, champions have been nerfed for less, so. We are seeing Aurelia dropping dangerously low here, getting very close to a range where he's comfortably tower diveable by this Renekton, and she knows it. She's backing off. Gonna give Renekton even more of a lead as far as creep is concerned. Gragas is over here trying to be a hero. Not really able to do anything, though.
They actually had the blue buff warded, so he wanted to try to steal it, but was just unable to.
Oh, yeah, okay, that makes more sense. Bottom lane looks like we're gonna have some action, but nothing really going down. Vayne now heavily out CSing the Caitlyn. Caitlyn just not able to apply pressure to this lane. Not really able to apply pressure, and not really any external pressure like we saw in Team Firefly's last game, where they had the external pressure from Graudag and Malzahar being bottom lane a lot of the time. Tara getting caught out alone, but there's
looks like Graudag is coming in
there.
right now, running in at Lulu, getting the condemn off. Beautiful condemn into the wall, stunning.
Beautiful condemn.
Stunning the bear.
Raiden, we have a request that you can drag. Can you drag in the score screen? Can you drag the players opposite to their lane opponents?
What do you mean?
So we have more idea. You know how you can compare golden items.
Yeah,
Make sure that
you
each
can
person's...
drag it.
Yeah, you can drag them.
Wait,
oh, look at top lane. Renekton eating 1,000,000 damage from Aurelia.
Okay.
Aurelia now very strong. Picked up that Giant's Belt. Renekton on the Brutalizer. Great item for him, but Aurelia is so item independent for her damage, it doesn't even matter. She's just not carrying that Heaton style, tearing through his low health pool right now. We see the red pot come down from Renekton right here. Trying to keep himself in this lane, but it's not looking good for Volhaka right now. Aurelia just not caring about him anymore. Middle lane, also farm fest. You have Gragas against Malzahar, pretty even.
Looks like we have some stuff going down mid lane. Looks like the flash coming in, the ultimate onto Gragas, Malphite ultimate stopping the Malzahar ultimate, and it looks like Malzahar still trying to go in, putting Malefic Visions and Ignite onto Gragas. Will he go down? No! The health pot and the passive save him!
There was no Malefic Visions. It was just the flash Ignite.
Are you sure?
I believe the E would have taken him down. It was off cooldown, but I don't think Malzahar was in range. The range is slightly smaller than Ignite.
Yeah, that was a very it was good gank from both the junglers right there.
Almost a first blood. Aurelia being really greedy here, staying. She's been trading well with Renekton up till now, but we also have to just look. Renekton's ultimate is on cooldown. They did use it while we were watching the gank top lane. Both ultimates are on cooldown. Aurelia's will be back up first, and we do have the Ignite having been popped on both of them, so there should be some more action coming down here in a few more seconds, and I'm interested to see who comes out ahead. We do have Gragas having picked up the Merlin.
Looks like Volibear is going in, trying to do all he can to try and gank the bottom lane, but looks like he just forces the flash. Very good gank, though. Forcing the flash on the Lulu. Lulu will not have that flash.
His throw is... We saw this at the same time when he played Hecarim last game as well.
Looks like there's a
he
fight
just
on
ran
top
out of
lane
time
too.
on his ability.
But
yeah, Renekton's gonna have to back out of this one.
Yeah, it's just very
Renekton
small
forced him
fights.
away. Renekton though still sitting up 30 CS, so nothing to scoff at. Although, I mean, as we see already, the CS counts so much more on Aurelia. She just scales so much harder than the Crocodile can. You know, and that's really one of the big threats that Flarefly has going for them right now, is that Aurelia will be such a monster if she's not shut down. The new Blade of the Ruined King gave her a new one item damage outlet that she was lacking ever since they nerfed Trinity Force so hard. Well, we'll have to see if the solos here can make this happen. We've got 700 more gold for purple team right now. Just overall farming better. Flarefly is just having a lot of difficulty getting the CS in, especially bottom lane and top lane. Middle lane, a lot more even. Malzahar and Gragas are both just lane clearing champions. Looks like we got some action middle, but now it's just Malefic Visions bouncing around. We do see Malzahar rushing the Rod of Ages again. middle.
The Rod of Ages is definitely a good buy if you get it early, super early on, and you don't fall behind. Oh, but it looks like Greg is trying to take a drink there, but he's not going to be able to do anything. He actually gets knocked back. He gets
And
first blood on with the Malefic Visions, but Malphite's actually still going to keep on chasing. One ground slam, and that is it for Malzahar.
Great play by both teams there. Malphite picking up that kill, not letting the kill go unanswered. Malzahar keeping his head clear even though he got knocked around, still finishing off the tagging in with the ignite and the E to finish off the kill. Got Caitlyn shooting off her ultimate as Ras here. Pretty sound strategy against this lane, honestly. Lulu and Vayne just don't have any way to really sustain through that except for spell vamp or lifesteal. We'll see Renekton picked up another red potion here. Still not pulling too far ahead of Aurelia. So.
Ooh, and here comes Volibear coming in. They force the flash onto Renekton. Renekton uses his ultimate. Everyone just blasting out damage on this Renekton right now. Renekton actually going to take out Volibear, but Malphite coming up top, trying to help out his Renekton. Can Aurelia get this kill? No, she cannot. She goes in the tower range. She gets too greedy, and what are you doing? Oh, she still goes down.
Important play there. We notice Aurelia heat and styled immediately after Blade surging to the Renekton and wasn't able to attack to get the kill. Easily would have been a kill by her there if she'd done that inversely. Blade Surge, of course, applies all on hit effects when she dashes. Would have applied the 75 true damage. Would have taken down Renekton. Malphite still probably would have been able to take down Aurelia, but wouldn't have been as bad.
The problem in that fight was that Aurelia actually missed her equilibrium strike on Renekton.
Yes.
She ended up hitting the creep.
Hit the minion.
If you saw how little tiny health that Renekton had, if that equilibrium strike had hit, he would have gone down.
So now we have a 2,000 gold up on purple side. And Aurelia now way behind in lane after Renekton scored those 2 kills. Renekton goes back and immediately buys the Black Cleaver. I mean, hoping to tear through that early armor Aurelia's picked up. Probably not the best decision for him at this point, but it's a sound one. I'm really not a fan of that Black Cleaver anywhere near that early. Just feels wasted. But good red pot by Renekton in that last fight as well, keeping him alive that far. Definitely paid for itself there.
Oh, that was a beautiful stun right there, preventing Aurelia to get those last few creeps that were at her turret.
Seeing Malzahar trying to bully his
Malzahar throws so much damage onto Gragas. Gragas flashes out and has the body slam out of there.
No, that was actually Malzahar's flash. Believe it or not.
Oh wow, Gragas didn't have to use flash.
Not sure why Malzahar flashed there, but he served his purpose. It served his purpose. He definitely pushed Castlevania out of his lane at this point. I don't know. Looks like Castlevania is going to stay in it.
Oh, and it looks like a gank coming down in the bottom lane. Volibear trying to do so much damage, trying to pull everything. Vayne trying to live right here. Actually gets out with the flash and the Lulu ultimate, saving her life.
You know, we got Groudagg. We talked about earlier that a lot of this game relied on Groudagg performing well, and he just hasn't been able to get anything done. We do see Malzahar coming up to gank Renekton here, but obviously his ultimate's down from bullying Gragas, so he's just not able to actually do anything to him. Renekton just walks away scot-free, and Gragas actually stays in the middle lane, almost all the way back up to full health, just from spamming his abilities. Gragas' passive, of course, gives him 2% of his health back every time he auto-attacks, or every time he uses a spell. And I just hear Aurelia's turret is pretty close to falling just from sheer minion aggro. It has eaten a lot of damage from the minions at this point. Bear's coming back down for flip. We're not going to have a Oh! Beautiful cask by Gragas there. Cancels the Malzahar ultimate that would have otherwise sealed his fate. We will have Gragas use his flash, however, to escape that gank. Some damage going down bottom lane. Vayne taking a ton of damage from Caitlyn there.
Looks like she's just gonna be okay. Looks like there's a small skirmish up top, but Irelia just laying down some good harass. Like Renekton forced to just back out of there and stun her.
Caitlyn pinning these two to the turret hard as she can. Vayne already got that Blade of the Ruined King versus Caitlyn's simple BF sword and Berserker Greaves. Also got another dagger here on Caitlyn, so I don't. Is she going for the Zeal before she finishes out her first damage item? That's what it looks like's happening.
Oh, and it looks like Vayne already going with her Blade of the Ruined King, just diving straight onto them. Tarek putting the stun up, making sure that Caitlyn doesn't take any more harass. But it looks like they actually do win that trade.
It's true, but also remember Vayne ulted it and used her Blade of the Ruined King in that trade. Those are cooldowns which aren't always available. It's going to put them slightly more vulnerable for a little bit longer here, although Volibear's in no position to actually act on that. Aurelia getting ganked here by these two. Doesn't look like it's a good tower dive. Yeah, it doesn't look like it's a good dive here. They're just going to back off.
Looks like bottom lane, Vayne actually gets all of the damage out, but is forced to, Lulu messing up the block, but Vayne still getting out of there, and it looks like top lane, the turret goes down into Valhaka's favor.
This is a good and bad thing for it's a good and bad thing for Purple Team. On one hand, they do take the turret with Valhaka, but on the other, this is also going to present Aurelia a free opportunity to just farm at will. And we are going to see Gragas most certainly die here. He tries to be a hero and stop the dragon. But Purple Team just didn't have any presence there at all. We already have a Lock of the Iron Solari on Volibear. Just not able to get in there and do anything. Malzahar's ultimate will be down, however, allowing him a little bit more free reign in middle lane. That evens up the goal a little bit more, putting it down just 1.5k in Seal's and Navy's favor. Caitlyn also done a very good job of CSing her way back. She was very far behind earlier as far as creep score, which is somewhat surprising because Caitlyn is a champion well known for being able to farm every single creep and be very difficult to stop from farming, but she just wasn't able to pressure enough. Malzahar getting a little cocky over here now. Renekton's still waiting in the wings.
I feel like Malzahar knows that Renekton's there. He just wants Renekton to show himself.
This just doesn't seem like it get in well for Malzahar if he doesn't back off. Gragas is also there. Looks like blue team's gonna lose their bottom turret as well. Volibear gonna try to get in here and do something, but it's just nothing he's gonna be able to do.
Vayne laying some really good damage on Volibear right now. Nothing really happening at the moment, just everybody doing their own thing. Looks like
farming their creeps.
Looks like we have a Morella Namicon coming out of Gragas, and previously we've stated that we felt back in Season 2, Morello's was just not one of those items that you would see an AP carry getting because it didn't provide as many good stats. But recently, since the Season 3 buffs to this item, it gives a lot more things. It gives ability power, mana regen, and it gives a lot of cooldown reduction. It gives 20%. That's pretty much half of what the cap is. The cap is 40%. So that's actually a really, really good item now.
I have to agree, I have seen Morella Namicon being built significantly more frequently ever since it got buffed up to 20% CDR, and granted I've always been a little bit impartial myself and just not liking that item at all, but I can't argue with results, and I've seen a lot of top players using it with great effect. We have Valhaka here fighting Aurelia. Aurelia finished up that Cutlass, able to actually really damage him. Valhaka just not able to return any of the damage now. Aurelia has just completely outscaled him at this point. That's not looking good for Valhaka top lane. Yeah, just like I said, Morella Namicon also a good pickup here just because the Grievous Wound is very good against Volibear, directly counters his passive. Which I'm expecting they thought to be a much bigger problem than they thought, but with both Volibear and Aurelia having strong regeneration abilities, it makes sense where this would be a pick they want.
And that's
Purple
like,
team making some move here in the jungle. Looks like they're trying to go down for Caitlyn, but Malzahar getting vision there with his Q. It just looks like it's gonna just be one of those mid things. No, both the whole teams are arrayed here now. Groudag already really low. And I don't know if his passive's off CD or not. No, his passive's available, but the Remel and Almacon's gonna shut that right down. I don't think blue team really wants this fight. They just want to defend this turret and should probably be letting Caitlyn farm up as much as she can bottom lane. Vayne, of course, being stuck here in the middle, not being able to leave her team without fear of a fight breaking out. Looks like Caitlyn joined the fray here, but I just don't see this turning into anything. Both teams have an AP carry with incredibly strong lane clearing ability, and you know, combined with Renekton, I just can't imagine either one of these turrets is gonna fall. And blue team's got fairly large minion waves built up on both top and bottom, so it seems like they just want to drag this out, this whole fight middle. We will have Vayne trying to leave. Both Lulu and Vayne try to back out. Blue team pressures them back into the fight again. I think this is actually an engagement that's only going to end up in blue team's favor unless purple team makes a move pretty soon.
yeah, blue team has a lot of good harass on their plate. Malzahar with the silence and the malefic visions that can just keep going down on people, and Caitlyn with her Q can just keep on firing it off over and over again.
Middle turret.
Ooh, Malphite goes in with the ultimate, and the Lulu ultimate onto Malphite, into everybody going in. Everyone's so low. Saint Mughal just playing in the back there, doing so much damage, taking the Volibear down. They're tower diving this. Who can they get it? They do get it, and they're gonna get the tower as well.
That's what I was talking about earlier when Champion Select, when I said Malphite's such a good pick at these lower levels where all the players just feel the need to stand on top of each other. Like, look at purple team right now. Literally all humping each other. Blue team just needed to spread out, just so they weren't so vulnerable to that Malphite ultimate. They just got 4 out of the 5 of them right there. No contest. All the way down the middle, whole team just got ripped apart by that Malphite plus Gragas ultimate. Malzahar trying to make a play on Renekton at the end there, but just not able to accomplish it. Just too low.
I have to give credit to purple team though. That was an exceptional engage. They just waited and bided their time until the Malphite was just like, all right, I got this. Unstoppable force in. Unstoppable force into Lulu ultimate. And then into just everybody going in at once. And the Gragas ultimate just disrupting everyone, moving everyone away. It was exactly how I was saying that's exactly what they had to do to win those fights.
I agree. It's not looking good for blue team now, behind by 5,000 gold. Gonna be a free dragon for blue here, though. Purple team is not in any position to stop it.
That is just a small price to pay, though, for the ability to just, you know, they've already got themselves up a very good lead.
You're going to see Renekton here finish off the Warmog's armor. We will see the Blade of the Ruin King finish from Caitlyn. Probably a good pickup, considering the circumstances going on right now. That Renekton just possibly tanky, all stacking health. We're probably also going to see Aurelia picking one up here when she gets back. Renekton is not able to close with Aurelia. Not able to do anything here. We will see Vayne is up a whole item on Caitlyn now. She's the Infinity Edge, Blade of the Ruin King to Caitlyn's BF Sword, and Blade of the Ruin King. Not looking good for blue team, especially with Vayne being able to bring so much damage to the table once she gets those items. Renekton coming down, messing around with blue buff, but not really able to stop Malzahar in the long run. Aurelia goes back and finishes for Randu and Zoman, which I think, as good as that item is, especially against his team, since her primary opponent still is Renekton, I feel like that was a little bit too early, since the upgrade itself isn't really that helpful when you're talking about dealing with a champion who doesn't actually have auto attack. Great play by Renekton there, using the double dash to get back out of the fight. Purple team all in position to turn this into something, and blue team not really able to do anything about that. Looks like we're gonna have purple team kept pushing down to the top lane. Malphite maybe circling around trying to look for a good ultimate, but turns back around, kills that Malzahar Voidling with his Q. You see blue team a little bit more spread out now, a little bit better positioning against that, better positioning against that Malphite ultimate. Just chucking that
It's
Renekton
like
in
they're
there.
gonna engage right on. Malzahar ulting Renekton into place under the turret. Everyone going in. Irelia diving into all 5 enemies of the team, shutting down Renekton. Malphite ulting in. Lulu putting the ultimate on the Greg as Greg is doing so much damage, disrupting the enemy team, going in, and it looks like everyone. I can't tell what's going on. I can't tell what's going on. Oh my gosh! Double kill on the Malzahar, and that's 4 kills for the blue team.
We saw a very good dive by Irelia there. As stupid as it seems to dive into 5 people, she completely disrupted the enemy team, not letting them get on that ult, and she beat the crap out of Vayne. And if you see at the end there, what happened was the Mythic Visions went right from Malphite onto Lulu, who died to it, and passed it to Vayne, who also died to it. Great bounce there by Mythic Visions. Good play by blue team, just taking down the Renekton in a Gib, and then I don't feel like purple team should have initiated that fight with Renekton down. He was just too. I think he was too important to their damage at that point. And the Malphite ultimate should have come when they were all focusing Renekton. I feel like, you know, remember, blue team does have considerable damage output. It's not to be underestimated. Malzahar will tear through anything that gets in his way. And
they definitely
Irelia now
let the Malzahar ultimate go on for too long.
Yeah. Malphite definitely should have just interrupted it and let Renekton break free, because Renekton wasn't able to contribute anything in that fight. And he could have. Like, he wasn't even on the Malzahar pool. And that's what I've been seeing a lot from, that's what I was seeing a lot from Duran Thor, is he's not doing a very good job of doing the whole combo with his ultimate. He's just ulting people. And I think purple team really needs to take advantage of that, because, yeah, if you get the whole combo dropped on you, you very well might still be dead no matter what happens. But when he's just ulting them, it's not very much damage. Yeah, Malzahar's ultimate, great scaling, but pretty low base values. And, you know, it's really only good to keep them on that pool and make them stay there and eat all that damage at once. You know, overall though, great play from blue team there. A good play by Irelia, just knowing when to go in. And, you know, maybe she may have looked like she threw her life away, but that was the disruption she really needed. And we just saw in the team fight right before that how important that disruption is. If you can keep the enemy back row busy, you know, you can just win the fight. That's what happened there with blue team.
Yeah, and the gold count has dropped. The gold lead has dropped down to 800 for purple team.
Mm-hmm. Quite the change now here now. Still, I would still say the game is swinging in purple team's favor at this point, but remember, like, purple team will have to close this out. They do have the Vayne, but they don't have anything like Yorick, like the last team did. So they're gonna have to compensate for the fact that Renekton just doesn't get it done late game. He doesn't scale very well. All he can do is tank really hard. Both Caitlyn and Irelia on Blade of the Ruined King, it's not even relevant. And Irelia is such a late game terror that, you know, they have to close this out. Is the point. You know, they're not going to be able to do enough damage. Both Malphite and Renekton just aren't going to contribute any damage at that point, and I don't know if they're going to be able to keep Vayne alive, because Aurelia's passive is just so strong for diving one target, especially if she has the damage to kill them on her own.
It looks like they're making a play onto the red buff, or they're just trying to sit there.
Just trying to push.
Ooh, they're sitting on a ward.
Sitting right on a ward. Bad play here by purple team. This could be very dangerous for them if Aurelia decides to go in this. And honestly, I think they should go around from this to both sides. If they make a double play here with Taric and Caitlyn on one side and Volibear and the rest on the other, it's gonna put purple team in a really hard position because they're so reliant on that Malphite ultimate to get things done. And if you make them split their if you make him choose one of the two targets, since both of them are, you know, very important at this point, I think they would have been able to win that fight pretty handily. But nothing happens there. Purple team back out. Blue team maybe not even. Shouldn't have not maybe not doing the best job of capitalizing on that opportunity, but they also, not only did they not capitalize on it, they made their movements such that the purple team knew that they were there. You know, you saw Malzahar and Tara kind of stutter over there and move around indecisively, and this is something we talk about a lot. We talk to our mentees or even to each other. Like, the best way to lose an advantage is by being indecisive. You know, they needed to make a decision there and commit to it. Like, if they had just not done nothing, they would have kept purple team sitting in that bush for another good 30 seconds at least. Instead, they just backed, and now purple team got to have a free dragon instead of jumping on that team fight.
Yeah. Looks like blue buff is gonna go to Gragas. Very standard.
Gragas very dependent on that blue buff. Doesn't have any mana items at all purchased at this point. Well, actually, Merlin still gives mana, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's a one mana regeneration item, but it's a small one. His mana pool very small, and his spells cost a lot of mana. So if they're able to deprive him of that blue buff, it's going to be a really big play. However, he's getting it once again. As I said, standard.
He is still able to drink his cask and regen some mana there. But that's not enough for the combos that he needs to be making.
Yeah, he needs to throw his Q basically every time it's off CD, and that's just not going to give him the mana to do that. We do see Gragas also picking up the Liandry's Torment here. Pretty much just the strongest damage item for AP carries in the game at the moment, as far as standalone damage output is concerned. Whether you have to actually combo with the Rylai's or not, different story, but Rylai's just fits well enough on Malzahar's kit where that makes a lot of sense anyway. Keeping them in that pool is, like I said, paramount to Malzahar's gameplay. So, we are going to see blue team looping around purple here. We might see them try to pick somebody off if they walk in the brush. Looks like Lulu's coming over that way. And purple throwing down some pings. Maybe looking to cut off blue here. Blue's got a lot of people backing. This could be really bad. Malzahar about to face check a whole team. Oh, but the Caitlyn trap lets them all know about the impending danger, and that pool just wrecks them.
Oh, Malzahar, what are you doing? You're in
really
the wrong area. You shouldn't be there. He flashes, fail flash. Malzahar goes down instantaneously. Irelia trying to dive right onto the Vayne, but stopped by the Gragas, and everyone just taking so much damage. Now Volibear by himself. Oh, that was a very poor positioned fight for the blue team. And it looks like purple team's just going to be able to capitalize on this. It looks like they're just going to get a free Baron.
It's definitely a free Baron there. Purple team just doesn't have... Blue team just doesn't have any way to combat this. Tarek just not having any range here. Caitlyn too low to try to poke over the wall. Not willing to die to Gragas' combos. Gragas might actually die to Baron here.
Gragas is... oh, he's going to be fine. He'll be fine. He should probably leave, though. And now you see Gragas, the perfect definition of why Baron buff is just so strong. He was at about like 100 HP or so, and the regen on him is just ridiculous. Coming from his passive as well, he's gonna be almost at half health if he decides to just walk around for a little bit. But he's gonna go back.
Great play by purple team, really capitalizing on the poor positioning of Malzahar. He's been very important to blue team's success at this point, so taking him down that easily was a big play by them, and as you say, it threw blue team in total disarray, and that team fight was an easy win for purple. Swinging the game right back into their favor after it was stalled for a while. Caitlyn picking up another damage item, now on Blade of the Rune King, Aesthetic Shivan Bloodthirster. While Renekton picks up a Sunfire Cape. Gragas also going for the Zhonya's Hourglass now.
Oh, Gragas body slamming into the wall right there. That wall is one that Gragas can actually not go over. No matter how hard he tries. Again, body slamming. Alright, but it looks like they're going to make a push onto the top turret right here. Aurelia on the bottom lane, actually. I don't think this is a good idea for Aurelia. She really needs to go back. I don't know if trading towers is good at this point. You want to keep every advantage you can have at this late of the game, especially when you're behind.
Yeah, one team fight now can literally end the game, and I just don't think it's smart for blue team not to be grouped up together. Aurelia giving purple a free turret. You see that Malefic Visions, though, just destroying Vayne. Like, that's after she's been life-stealing, too. Malzahar very good at defending the space he wants to keep. That pool plus Liandry is just shredding anybody who wants to walk into it. You know, you can see all of them are almost half HP now.
And it looks like
Got the
Volibear
flip
diving
through.
onto Lulu. The disruption from Gragas. But
Oh,
Gragas
Gragas
goes
is
down
gone.
instantaneously from the Malzahar. They're just going to keep going onto them. Looks like the Malphite ulti finally coming
Great
in,
Malphite
but
ultimate.
it was not enough. They only ulted Volibear. Caitlyn and Malzahar are still trying to fight for their lives. Vayne taking everyone down, going in, fighting. Is this a quadra kill? Quadra kill for Vayne!
Yeah, I see in chat there the GG Vayne. Yeah, great play there by purple team. Just keep Vayne keeping her distance, taking down Aurelia in a second, even though she got hit by both Bork and the Randuin Zoman. Just blue team can't make anything, and this testament to how far behind blue team is, because they caught Gragas without. Gragas didn't do anything in that fight. He died before he could use a single skill, and it still didn't matter. And we said earlier that if Volibear didn't make his presence known early on in the game, this is what was going to happen. And here we are. St. Moogle playing very well on Vayne, 7-1 and 4. Just doing unparalleled damage.
St. Moogle's positioning is just really good in this game right now. He's able to just stay behind his front line. They're able to protect him as well and keep him alive. And it's that Baron buff on them is what's really turning this around as well. It looked like they were almost going to lose that fight, but because they're just stronger in this moment that, you know, they weren't going to go down. Like Vayne just had so much extra attack damage from the buff that I don't know why the blue team decided to go in on a team with Baron.
I agree. I mean, they did get the initial kill on Gragas, and I think Aurelia just overestimated her ability to snipe down Vayne. You know, Vayne almost hitting 300 CS, already very fed. Not something Aurelia's going to be able to take down. You know, Vayne almost buying a whole Randuin Zoman of her own, putting her two whole items up on that Aurelia. You know, she just isn't able to dive in there and kill her. You know, Aurelia lost, like I said, lost a lot of power with the loss of Trinity Force. A lot of her burst damage is gone, and she doesn't have so many free stats anymore. She just isn't able to give the AD carries like she used to. And I'll be curious to see if we see this be the end of the game. You know, Seal's Navy, huge advantage here. Baron's already dead, Dragon's dead. They can just push bottom for free and end this. No way blue team can do anything about it. I mean, this game very quickly got away from Flarefly's Firefighters.
It's a tongue twister.
Yeah, Seal's Navy doing a good job of securing their lead and keep running with it. Although they really need to just get on bottom and kill that turret. They can't let blue team really just free farm like this. Like we mentioned before, blue team has a lot of high threat champions, and while Vayne might be the hardest scaling champion in this game for sure, you know, when you get gibbed by Malzahar and Aurelia, it really doesn't matter who you are. So, you know, if they just let the blue team sit in their base and free farm all day, this game's going to turn south for Seal's Navy.
And it looks like the final push is coming in. They're going to go spot, trying to cut off Caitlyn. Caitlyn, very wise choice to move back and not be there. It looks like they're just going to tank this tower, and the front line of Seal's Navy just doesn't even care. The support is actually the one tanking right now when they have three people who could totally tank this, and it's still a so great
Top lane pushing very hard now for purple team. Gonna make it so blue team's not gonna be able to have a full defense down your bottom.
Honestly, though, Malzahar can just stop any kind of threat to his tower.
Yeah,
it's so easy.
They are gonna force them to.
And it looks like the Volibear going straight onto the Vayne, but everyone is saving Vayne right now. They're killing everyone off. Vayne, easy kill onto Taric, and now Aurelia diving straight onto them, but everything goes onto Vayne, everything to protect her, and she goes down.
Yeah, that fight, Malzahar was just 100 units away from getting his ultimate off in that Vayne. If he had managed that fight would have ended totally differently if Vayne goes down. And if this isn't the end of the game, then that's all blue team needs to focus on, is they just no auxiliary targets, kill Vayne if you can. But I think this is the end of the game right here. I don't see Seal's Navy not getting this unless
Yeah,
Caitlyn
it
just
looks like
makes
they're
some
just going
amazing
straight
play
in.
here.
Vayne's actually gonna. Oh, Vayne, beautiful condemn, pushing Caitlyn away from her fountain, and looks like they're going to just end this. And game one goes to Seal's Navy.
Seal's Navy. Great game there played by both teams. But like I said, I think it just came down to champion select. You know, purple team got it done with their picks, and I don't feel like blue team really did.
Yeah, I definitely feel like they should have seen this whole AoE comp coming down when they saw the Malphite and the Lulu pick in the first two picks. They could have definitely counteracted this with a very high mobility, very poke heavy team, and if they had that, they would have been able to just poke them down, making the AoE just completely useless.
I agree as well. And they just didn't have per blue team here. No real disengage abilities. You know, they have the great poke and they have great insta giving, but they don't have any way to deal with all the AoE that purple team brought. They didn't have like a Jaina or anything along those lines. I do feel like if that Taric had been a Jaina pick, however, we might have seen an entirely different game here. Just the ability to reset those team fights and reposition all of them, and it would also usually put Renekton in a very vulnerable spot because he always dove on Malzahar. You know, I feel like that would have been a much different game, actually, honestly. That might have even swung it enough to make blue team be favored.
Yeah, but overall,
But
definitely a
that's,
very good game.
yeah, tight play by both teams. You know, Grudeg, just like we said, not able to get it done in the jungle this time like he was as Hecarim. Just too much trouble early on in the jungle.